Yes, hi, hello everyone. Welcome to session 8. This is the last session in this chapter. So, in the session 7, we had discussed about types of interaction. There is one type that is called predation. The second one is competition. Yes, competition is a type of interaction. Here, the competition takes place between two different species. Example number 1, in some shallow South American lakes, the visiting flamingos is compete with resident fishes for same resource. Andre if flamingos antandre is a type of wading bird andre to search the food in water. Okay, so there is competition takes place between both the flamingos and resident fishes for same resources. So here in this lake presence of zooplanktons. So zooplankton is the food for these two species. Okay, here the resources are limiting, that's why the competition takes place between these two species. This example 2. The Abingdon tortoise in Galapagos Island. Abingdon tortoise in Galapagos Island. They become extinct. Yes, the Abingdon tortoise in Galapagos Island, they become extinct. So because of, after introducing the goats into this island, the goats have a greater feeding efficiency or greater browsing efficiency. That's why this goat feeding efficiency decreases the population of Abingdon tortoise. This is called interference competition. Yes, what is interference competition? See, interference competition is a type of competition. Here, the feeding efficiency of one species is reduced due to interfering and inhibitory presence of other species. Here, the resources are plenty. Andre resource ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಸೋರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಪ್ಲೆಂಟಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಹೇಗಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ದ ಫೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆರ್ ಬ್ರೌಸಿಂಗ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಇನ್ goat is more compared to Abingdon tortoise. That's why the Abingdon tortoise in Galapagos Island, they become extinct. So that is called interference competition. Yes, example 3. Yes, that is called competitive release. Competitive release, which means the competition occur in nature. That is called a competitive release. See, concept enandre, yes, there is a small geographical area, and in that geographical area, presence of small sized species. When the large sized species is enter into this geographical area, automatically the small sized species are left or eliminate from this geographical area because of the large one species. It needs to expand its distributional range. Automatically the smaller species is eliminated from that geographical area. So this is called competitive release. The definition for competitive release: a species whose distribution is restricted to small geographical area because of presence of large competitive superior species. These superior species need to expand their distributional range in that geographical area. This is called a competitive release. So we can observe in Connell's elegant experiment. Connell's elegant experiment showed yes, on a rocky seacoast of Scotland have large and competitively superior barnacle, that is called balanus. These balanus dominated in intertidal zone, intertidal area. Automatically, the small sized barnacle, that is called thalamus is eliminated from that area, is eliminated from that zone. Okay, yes, here the Connell's elegant experiment showed on the rocky seacoast of Scotland the large and competitively superior barnacle, that is called balanus, is dominated that intertidal zone and exclude the smaller sized barnacles, that is called thalamus, from that zone. Yes, the fourth one example for competition, Gauss's competitive exclusion principle. Yes, Gauss's competitive exclusion principle. So this principle states that two closely related species compete for same resources but cannot coexist indefinitely, and the inferior one will be eliminated. And the competition takes place between two closely related species for same resources. But the efficient one will survive and the inferior one will be eliminated. Okay, and in some other closely related species, they have same resources, but they do not show any competition because of they have a different foraging pattern and different food pattern. So that is called resource partitioning. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಲಿ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಲಿ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಲಿ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ಗೆ ಫುಡ್ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಸೇಮ್, ಬಟ್ ಏನು ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಾರೇಜಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಫುಡ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಏನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಬರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಬರ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ ತಿಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬರ್ಡ್ ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ತಿನ್ನುತ್ತೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ದ ಫುಡ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ದ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ Mac Arthur, he showed 5 closely related species, that is called warblers. See, warblers antandre small birds anta. So these small birds present in same tree, but there is no competition takes place between these 5 closely related species because of the food pattern, the foraging pattern. The foraging pattern is different. That's why these 5 closely related species can coexist and there is no competition because of foraging or food pattern is different. These are all example for competition interaction. Yes, the third one interaction is parasitism. Yes, parasitism is a type of interaction. So interaction occurrence between two living organisms of different species. Yes, two living organisms of different species. So this is called parasitism. Here the different species, which means the one species considered as parasite, and the another species is considered as host. The another species considered as host. See here, the parasite is always depend on host. It always depend on host. It will get food from the host. So that's why here the parasite is benefited one. That's why we have to assign this plus sign for parasite. And the host is harmed one, because of the parasite always depend on host and it gets food from a host. That's why the host is harmed one. That's why we have to assign the minus sign for host. Okay, yes. What is parasite? Yes, what is parasite? So parasite is the living organism. Parasite is the living organism. They live on or inside the host. Live on or inside the host organisms. Is based on this, the parasites are two types. One is ectoparasites and endoparasite. Ectoparasites and endoparasite. Yes, ectoparasites and endoparasites. Yes, what is ecto? Ecto means outside. Ecto means outside. See, the parasite is present in or live on external surface of the host organism. Just imagine this is a parasite and this is the host. The parasite live on external surface of the host organism. This is called ectoparasite. Yes, ectoparasite means the parasite live on external surface of the host organism. That is called ectoparasite. Example for ectoparasite: lice on humans and ticks on dog, and copepods on marine fishes. Copepods on marine fishes. And cuscuta on hedged plant. Yes, these are all the examples for ectoparasite: lice on humans, ticks on dogs, copepods on marine fishes. Here, the last one is cuscuta on hedged plant. Yes, cuscuta is a parasitic plant. Cuscuta is a yellow colored parasitic plant. So there is no leaves, there is no photosynthesis. Because of the cuscuta produce a special type of roots that is called hostorial roots. Yes, these roots penetrate into the host organism to get both water and minerals, means food. Okay, ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಗ ನಾವು ರೋಡ್ ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಥ್ರೆಡ್ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಕಸ್ಕುಟ ಅಂದರೆ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಥ್ರೆಡ್ ದಾರ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಗೋಧಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಸಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಈ ಕಸ್ಕುಟ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಕಸ್ಕುಟ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ಡ್ ಲೀಫ್ಲೆಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟಿಕ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಲೀಫ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಹಾಸ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್. ಎಸ್, ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಂಡೋಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್. Say endo mean inside. The parasite living inside the host at different sites. For example, kidney, lungs, liver, all busy. So these are the sites of endoparasites. There are some examples for endoparasite: tapeworm and ascaris, plasmodium and liver fluke. See, these are all examples for endoparasites. These parasites have specific host. For example, for tapeworm, So man and fig. So fig is the host for tapeworm. Man and fig is the host for tapeworm. Okay. And for ascaris, man is the host. And for plasmodium, man and female Anopheles mosquito. Female Anopheles mosquito is the host. Mosquito is the host. Okay. And for the liver fluke, snails and fishes. Fishes are the host. Fishes are the host for liver fluke. Okay. Yes. These parasites have a specific host. For tapeworm, man and fig. For ascaris, man. And plasmodium, female Anopheles. And liver fluke, the host is snails and fishes. Yes, there are some special adaptations that takes place in parasites. Yes, special adaptations. Adaptations in parasites, because of they need to survive. That's why these special adaptations takes place in parasites. What are the adaptations? Special adaptation. Number one, absence of unnecessary sense organs. Yes, absence of unnecessary sense organs. Absence of unnecessary sense organs. And absence of digestive system. Absence of digestive system. And presence of adhesive organ. Number three, presence of adhesive organ or sucker. This adhesive organ and sucker which helps to cling on host. And they have well reproductive system. So these are all special adaptation in parasites. Absence of unnecessary sense organs and absence of a digestive system. Is presence of adhesive organ and sucker. This helps to cling on host. And the fourth one is a well reproductive system. So these are all special adaptation in parasites. Yes, the next is brood parasitism. Brood parasitism. Yes, brood parasitism is a type of parasitism. The parasitic birds which deposit their eggs on host nest. Andre ಒಂದು parasitic birds ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, so the parasitic birds which deposit their eggs on it host nest ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಲೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, eggs ನ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ the parasitic bird ಈ host organism nest ಅಲ್ಲಿ they deposit their eggs. The host bird will incubate these eggs. Because of these eggs are similar to host bird eggs. So this is called brood parasitism. Example, cuckoo is also called coil. They deposit their eggs in crow's nest. So these are example for this is the example for brood parasitism. So this is about parasitism interaction. The next interaction is commensalism. Commensalism is a type of interaction. Here one species will be benefited. That's why we have to assign the plus sign. The another species nor benefited and not harmful. Not benefited and not harmful. So that's why here neutral. We have to assign the 0 is the neutral. Okay. So this is called commensalism. Example for commensalism: orchids growing as epiphytes in mango tree ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಪಿಫೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ರಾಂಚಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರೀ ಬ್ರಾಂಚಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ಸ್ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟೆಡ್ ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ಗೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ಟ್ರೀ there is no beneficial and harmful. Yes. Then example 2, the barnacles growing on back of whale, growing on back of whale ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ವೇಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಬಾರ್ನಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ವೇಲ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆದಾಗೆ it will get food. So by the help of this whale, the barnacle will also get food. So here the barnacles will get benefited from whale, but for whale there is no beneficial and there is no harmful for whale. Okay, and the third one example is cattle egrets and cattle grazing. Cattle egrets ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈ ರೂರಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ cattle egrets and cattle grazing which means the cattles feed on grasses. ಫೀಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, there is a number of insects comes out from the grasses. So these insects are eaten by cattle egrets. Here the cattle egrets are benefited one, but the grazing cattle are not beneficial, not harmful. Yes, example 4, the sea anemone have stinging tentacles. So in between these stinging tentacles, presence of clownfishes. These clownfishes get protected from the tentacles of sea anemones. Here the clownfishes get benefited, but the sea anemone is not getting any beneficial or harmful. So these are all about commensalism. Yes, the next one interaction is Amensalism. Amensalism is a type of interaction. Here one species get harmed, so we have to assign the sign minus, and the another species neither benefited nor harmed. See example for Amensalism. Yes, the mild penicillium release the chemicals that is called penicillin. So these penicillin kills the bacteria but not affected its mold. Just imagine there is a Petri plate, presence of penicillium. This penicillium releases some chemicals that is called penicillin. If any other bacteria grown in this Petri plate, this penicillin chemicals kills this bacteria but not affected of its mold. So this is called Amensalism. The last one interaction is Mutualism. Yes, mutualism is a type of interaction. Here the both species get benefited. So here we have to assign the plus sign for both species. So that is called mutualism. Here the both species get benefited mutually. Example for mutualism, number 1, lichens. See, lichens are the combination of both algae and fungi. See here, the fungi gives shelter for algae, the algae gives food for fungi. Both are associated with each other. This is called symbionts. The second one, mycorrhiza. Yes, this mycorrhiza shows symbiotic association between fungi and roots of higher plants. higher plants. Roots of higher plants. Here the fungi absorb the nutrients. The fungi absorb the nutrients. The roots of higher plants gives food for fungi. So both are symbiotically associated with each other. Example 3. The plants and animals pollinating agents. Animals pollinating agents. See here, the plants provides food for animals, which means the plants or insects, they suck the nectar. So the nectar means a sugary fluid. Okay, the plants provide food for animals. The animals pollinate the flowers. Pollinate the flowers. But some animals does not carry the pollination process, but it collects the food from plants. So this is called cheaters. This is example 3. And example 4. The particular species of fig tree inflorescence is pollinated by particular species that is called wasp. Wasp is an insect. Fig tree ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಹತ್ತಿ ಹಣ್ಣು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಆ ಮರ fig tree. Okay, so here inflorescence is hypanthodium. Okay, so this hypanthodium inflorescence is pollinated by this particular insect that is called wasp. Okay, so this is the hypanthodium inflorescence. See here, presence of 3 types of flowers. One is male flowers and female flowers and sterile flowers. When the wasp needs to deposit its eggs in this inflorescence, it brings some pollen grains dusted on female flower to perform pollination function. And the sterile one is food for development of wasp larvae. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಈ ವ್ಯಾಸ್ಪ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ವ್ಯಾಸ್ಪ್ ಎಗ್ನ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೋರೆಸೆನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಮೇಲ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಆದಾಗ ಇಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೈನ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್, ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಟ್ ಎ ಟೈಮ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೆರೈಲ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಎಗ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಸ್ಟೆರೈಲ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫುಡ್ ಫಾರ್ this development of wasp larvae and protection for wasp larvae. See here, protection for wasp larvae. Fifth one is particular orchid from Mediterranean region that is called Ophrys. So this Ophrys orchid flowers resembles female honeybees, and it attract male honeybees. Here the orchid flowers resembles like female honeybee. So and it attracts the male honeybee to perform pollination by pseudo-copulation. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಪೆಟಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದ್ರ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಹನಿಬಿ ತರ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಮೇಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿಸ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ and the male honeybees think that it's a female flower and perform pseudo-copulation process. During pseudo-copulation, the pollen grains is transferred to female flowers of stigma to perform pollination. The orchid female flower attracts male honeybees. This is called sexual deceit. Okay, the orchids from a Mediterranean region that is called ophrys. This ophrys flowers resembles like female honeybees, and it attract the male honeybees. This is called a sexual deceit, and the male honeybees think that is a female honeybees, and to perform the pseudocopulation process. During that pseudocopulation process, the male honeybees transfer number of pollen grains to the female flowers. Again, the male honeybees transfer to another flower to pollinate the flowers. Thank you.